Hello, welcome to a new episode of Thank You Kindly. G, tell everybody what Thank You Kindly is about.
Thank You Kindly is a podcast about hilarious work stories, horrific work stories, pop culture, and everything in between.
Nicely done. That's G. This is
Zach.
Sub Zach. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Doing well. Doing really well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I mean, I'm doing actually really well. Figured I would talk to you guys now.
Yeah.
I am pregnant.
Shut up. Actually?
I am.
Congratulations.
Oh my God. Oh, wait.
I didn't want to wait.
Wait, how are you
Wait.
feeling?
Oh my God. G.
When you do, how are you feeling? I have so many
Oh my
questions.
God. Congratulations. Oh my God.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm
Oh my
taking out the
God.
headphones to give you a hug.
Yeah, okay.
I'm doing it too. Oh my God. Wait, this is so exciting. Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Damn right, you're doing well. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. I want to fucking cry.
I figured I couldn't keep hiding the growing
You
bump.
look great.
Thanks.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Thank you so
Wait,
much.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling well, actually. I'm in the second trimester now. I'm coming up to 16 weeks. I'm a couple days from 16
Oh
weeks,
my gosh.
which is really fucking exciting. And
I'm so giddy. Oh my God.
and yeah, the second trimester is going splendidly. Like all of my symptoms have gone away essentially, unless I let myself get really hungry and then I get
Fair.
vomitous.
Oh my God.
But it's going so well. I'm like, should I check up on something? Like I feel good. I feel like myself.
That's awesome. Were you like for the first trimester? Were you like okay? How are you?
My first trimester was also very smooth. I
awesome.
would get nauseous if I was hungry, and it was a very quick switch. So I had to like keep snacking. That's why last time we were here, I was like chugging fizzy water because I was afraid of letting myself get hungry, and I was
Oh my
eating
God.
full meals in the car on the way here because I was so afraid that I was gonna have to
Legendary.
like.
Oh my God.
I was so afraid that I was gonna have to like go and run and throw up. But I haven't gotten sick at all. It's just like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
And then I was just really tired and my boobs
Yeah.
hurt. But that was it.
Right. I know, right? Like,
That's why I feel like Max and I
relatable.
are also such guys that if you were like eating full meals while we were recording and like running in and out, like we wouldn't have even thought twice about anything.
true.
Like I always tell my wife, and like most guys with like good emotional intelligence, like will not even mention anything about somebody being pregnant, even if they're like 8 months pregnant,
Right.
unless they have said to them, "Oh, like I'm expecting."
It has to be
Yeah.
brought up first.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I will be in front of somebody who is like clearly pregnant.
Yeah.
Like I'm like gonna give birth any day.
Yeah.
And if I don't know, if it was not told to me, or I don't know like their partner who told me, like I will not say a word.
That's wise. That's
Yeah.
wise. I've had 2 people ask me if I was pregnant when I was not pregnant. And it was
Jesus.
horrific. And I was just like bloated. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything crazy. It was just
Right.
bloated.
Like it boggles my mind
and
that
I'm
that's
like-
still that happens.
Yeah.
I understand like
Oh my God.
50 or 60 years ago when when like social norms just weren't a thing.
Yeah.
Not that they were, I don't know, but that's wild that people have said, "Are you pregnant?"
Yeah.
It was horrible. And I was like, do I look? And I would turn to the side and it was like basically like a flat stomach. And I was like, what's happening? I would never, if someone only slightly looked bloated, I would never be confident enough to think that they were pregnant and like
Yeah.
ask them. Because that could make someone
bold.
totally spiral.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh God.
yeah.
This is probably a good time to tell you that in the 9th grade,
You're gonna say something else. Like,
no. In the 9th grade, I once told a girl, I asked her if she was pregnant because I genuinely thought she might have been. She was not. She got mad at me.
Yeah. And she was in grade 9.
We were in grade 9, and like you never know. I don't know. People are doing crazy shit these days. Who knows? But
The likelihood
this
is
wasn't,
slim. But
grade 9 wasn't these days.
yeah,
grade 9 was
yeah.
not these
Yeah.
days. It was those days. Like
And those days were the teen mom days where it was
exactly
It was a
like
thing, to be fair.
TLC. You know, like 16. I didn't know I was pregnant. 16 and pregnant. All those shows like that.
Yeah.
Those were like in their prime at that time. She was not happy with me. It took a long time for her to be friends with me again. But I don't even talk to her anymore. So.
So jokes on who is
what's
the
her name?
question.
Her name happens to be Jess. It is not your wife. Made me
That
think
would
of
be a villain origin story. Where you'd find out now that that's the whole reason why you guys got together
Oh my
because
God.
you wanted to.
That would be hysterical.
That'd be insane.
So,
I
oh my
cannot
God.
believe you're pregnant.
I'm
I know,
so
I'm
so
so
excited.
excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm due July 10th. And we've already found out it's a boy.
Ooh, okay. I was gonna
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them.
I know.
Yeah, I know a thing or two.
I know. I want to ask. I want to like pick your brain.
Yeah, I probably have stuff you can borrow.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
take anything you're willing to part with temporarily or permanently. Anything.
What's your dream name for your kid? And are you like, is that the name you're gonna go with? Have you decided on a name?
So we've already got a name.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! You don't have to say if you don't
I'm
want.
also gonna say like,
we are not telling anyone.
Yeah.
the
Okay.
name.
Totally understand. I am upset, but I understand.
I was gonna say like it's like culturally for us, it's
Yeah.
like people don't say the name. Like in Judaism, people don't say the name
Oh, really?
until it arrives, and
Yeah.
some people don't even like super traditionally. You
Yeah.
don't do anything to prepare for the baby until the baby
Is
arrives.
born.
Wait,
So you
what?
don't even find
Yeah.
out the gender?
That I don't know.
Did you find out the gender?
I knew.
for
So
both?
my first kid, I didn't know that we didn't know the gender.
How did you guys survive that? Like
So here's what's hard about it. Honestly, it's because like once they arrive, I guess like if you want to get certain colored things and stuff, pink or blue or whatever, but like
Yeah.
it has to do with like that stuff. But it's more the name. Like it's a lot easier
yeah.
just to like come up with, okay, here's our list and just like boys' names.
Exactly.
We ended up having one boy's name and like 4 or 5 girls' names.
Yeah, same with us.
Oh damn.
And
Yeah.
when we're like, okay, when the baby arrives, like if it's a boy, like this is his name. And if it's a girl, we had it planned out that we'd go like 1, 2, 3, and each of us would say
Oh
the girl name. Like we
Yeah.
both like knew. And then,
wait, that makes me so stressed.
no, but then
I
I, said,
know.
and then I
Me
said
too.
realistically, if we say different names, I would just go with what my wife said.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Smart man.
so the one on your list was the one that you went with, I'm guessing.
yes.
Okay.
Nice.
And then your second one,
Yeah.
love both of your sons' names, by the way. They are dope.
Thank you.
And I'm almost
I was gonna
mad.
say just to be clear, this one of
You
the
can
kids'
steal-
names is not dope.
They are dope.
I'm almost mad that you guys took those first because they would be in the running for ours as well.
I mean, you can take
Take them
both.
no, it's okay.
I feel like
It's
it's,
okay.
yeah.
It's okay. We've got one that is like similar in vibe in that it is unique but not absurd,
Okay.
and people exist with the name. But I've never met someone who exists with the name that we're going to be naming our kid, and it's a word in the English language, but it's not a word we've ever heard as a name. But it's not dumb.
Okay.
This is a perfect segue for a friend of mine shared this with me, so I can't take full credit, but a tiering system that was told to me for names. He's like, there's 4 tiers of names. And
Yeah,
just like,
different than your tiering system for names that we've already talked about.
nope. Same one. That tiering system. Did I
That
talk about it
tiering
on here?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you for stopping me.
Our
I just
pilot,
got so excited.
our
I'm like-
pilot inspector bit where we talked
Oh, it
about him
started
being
with the tier. Yeah.
a tier 4.
That's an absolute
That's
tier
an
4.
absolute. That's a tier
So
5.
So what is? I'm really bad at that. Like I will often tell a full story, and someone's like, "Oh, you've told me that before." I'm like, "I wish you stopped me when I started." So seriously, thank you.
So you just have a bad memory.
I guess, but I think I have a good memory.
But wait,
I
didn't-
think I have a good memory too.
But
My
like-
memory
I
don't.
sucks.
okay, what makes this either worrisome or not is did you watch episode 2 yet?
Yes.
Then that means that your memory
Yeah,
is
you're right.
bad.
You're right. No, I did watch episode 2. Yeah.
Were you gonna ask what tier he is? Like the name?
Yeah.
Well,
You also don't have to share.
I can share what tier. So 4 is that you've never heard of anybody being named that before, but
Is that-
they're
Yeah. Tier
Yeah.
4 would be like it isn't.
a
It'd
name.
be like
name.
it's not a name.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's definitely a name because I heard of it as someone's middle name once. So like I know that, and it came up on a list, just not
Right.
a
So
list of like a really
So
popular.
I think that would like
Right.
auto classify it into like maximum tier 3.
Yeah.
It's not like you're created the name out of like.
Yeah, we didn't create
Yeah.
it out of thin.
It's not like camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be tier 4.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
So-
Imagine naming your kid Camera.
Yeah, I know.
What a great way to start.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm so
I know.
jazzed. That's amazing. Oh my god.
Thanks.
Salty dog
I'm
waiting
so
until we sat down and
excited.
started recording. Yeah. We were catching up, but like before we sat down and started recording, didn't say anything.
Actually, I have a question for you guys. I was talking about this with someone the other day. Is there any place that you just wouldn't want to work at ever? Like, is there like
plenty.
like kind of like a field of work,
field?
a line of work that you just would never want to do?
You know what? If I hadn't worked at a really excellent call center in Australia, I would have said call center easily.
Interesting.
But the call center job is the most favorite job I've ever had.
Interesting.
And I've had a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
A lot. I've had a job since I was 10. Like
Wow. And you loved the call center job?
I loved it. It was called Aussie Farmers Direct. It's now defunct.
So Australian.
And it was an online grocery store where
that's
you'd
cool.
and they got Aussies and like Brits and stuff to come work for them. So it was a very jovial traveler vibe. And they just treated us really, really well. It kind of felt like the Google of call centers.
Well,
They
I
had-
think that's what makes. I think any like bad job, it's only as bad as like the company treats
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
I feel like
yes.
you could have a job that's like known as being like, oh, this is like a notoriously hard or difficult job that people don't like.
Oh, yes.
But if you're treated really well, it makes it, I don't want to say tolerable, like more than tolerable, like enjoyable. Like you can enjoy
Yeah.
a job.
Oh, yeah.
I was just talking to you before we started. I think like who you work for, whether it's company or like your direct boss, is what makes or breaks a job.
Yes.
Like you can
Yeah.
have a great job, but then your boss is a horrible.
Yeah.
And like that will ruin the job.
Yeah.
Like people tend to leave jobs, I think, for people they're working for, not necessarily like the job itself.
Yeah, isn't that funny too? Because I've known many people who've worked in like the beauty industry, skincare industry, fashion industry, blah blah blah, and it's wild how cool it sounds, their job, like where they work and what their title is, but they end up hating it because their bosses mostly rely on the fact that people would die to work there,
Yeah.
and they don't care about maintaining good morale or like preventing turnover or whatever, because they know there's another young woman willing to come in and get paid an egregiously low amount, just like I was, because of the name.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
versus this call center knew full well they were a call center and they treated us like we were the most important people in the world. We had a gym in the building. We had our lunch catered by a chef, like an in-house chef.
Okay.
We had, oh my God, I had this whole list of things that I would tell people when I was there. There was a bunch of stuff that was really cool.
Wait, that's amazing.
I know, we got like 3 breaks plus a lunch per day. We didn't have to start till 10:30. We got paid like a very high amount plus commission, and it was like $12 per commission on the hardest campaign. And they put me on the hardest campaign because I'm very persuasive. I was very, very good at that job. They put me on the hardest one where you have to convince people who left in
come back.
in a huff over 2 years ago to come back.
Damn.
It just worked really well. And
Wow.
then every third Thursday of the month, they would give us thousands of dollars on a bar tab to go and have fun together. It was
Culture,
It
baby.
was insane.
Yeah, that's
Why-
awesome. That
why
sounds like a
did-
great gig.
Why
It
did they
was
go out of
fucking
business?
incredible.
Like, is it because they were giving you so much money for the bartender?
They were going out of business, and don't quote me, but I do remember it. It was because the big grocery stores kind of bought them out. They squeezed them out.
Big pharma.
And they, but like, it really is big pharma.
Big grocer.
Big farmer, big grocer. And it sucked because we all had such an emotional investment in that place that we still kept in touch with the bosses and our fellow employees when we
Wow.
left. And our friends who still worked there woke up one day and just didn't have a job. The bosses just didn't. They went to go to work and it
Aye.
was shut. And
Wow.
all of a sudden they were just squeezed out, which
Aye.
was
Jeez.
horrible. And so I just went around on LinkedIn and gave a recommendation to all of the bosses, and like, this person is responsible for fostering the greatest work environment I've ever been in. Like, people need to pick these people up because
on
man,
ya.
they worked. Who would have thought a call center would be the best
Yeah.
job you'd ever have?
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
incredible.
like, call center jobs are not known for being fun at
certainly
all.
not. Certainly
Yeah.
not.
Usually the complete opposite.
Yeah.
That sounds like the dream.
It was.
Wow.
Truly. And as a traveler too, where in Australia, I don't know if you experienced this too, but in Australia, you have a hard time staying at a job more than 6 months because legally you're not supposed to stay there for over 6 months because they
okay.
want to prevent you from getting sponsored, essentially,
see.
which means you can get a permanent residency if
Right.
your company likes you enough to pay thousands of dollars for you to stay.
Okay.
Because there are so many travelers there. They're cool with treating you like you're just disposable. You do tend to get treated well, especially if you're like, unfortunately, if you're like an English speaking person in Australia, they treat you well, especially if you're Canadian.
Right.
Baby brain just totally shut my brain off. What was I saying?
Because you're pregnant. Oh my God. I'm still not over that. Sponsorship, 6 months, Australia.
So having a company treat you really well and show you that they really value you and
like
your
rare.
time is so rare
Yeah.
when you're traveling around and
Wow.
they know you're not going to stay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish they were still around because
Me
I would
too.
I would go work for them.
I feel like they were
Yeah.
ahead of their time. 'Cause I feel
Yeah.
like online grocery shopping is like,
Oh,
I don't
it's
think
so
about like
the thing. Yeah.
Like voila,
you could do,
the soap.
Voila is a Toronto
Yeah.
one. The
HelloFresh,
Hello-
all of that
HelloFresh.
stuff. I don't know about you guys, but the HelloFresh and all of that. It's
I
not,
mean,
it's
unless they
not-
want to sponsor us, I honestly don't have the best things to say.
yeah, they're not the best.
I won't lie. So Kelsey and I do HelloFresh pretty often. This video is not sponsored by
I know.
HelloFresh,
I was
but we've done pretty good. And I think what we like about it is the fact that it's helped us like get better at cooking.
yeah.
It's like we suck at cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of rice heavy dishes, and something
Yeah.
about me, Zachary knows this. I love rice.
Rice is good.
Like I
it's good
love.
people.
I will just eat rice on its own. I'll just take the time to make a pot of rice and eat it, and just like have it as
Yeah,
a snack.
Max
I
is like
love
a,
that shit.
a very, he's a
I'm with you.
purist when it comes to food. Like growing
Yes.
up, he always had like vanilla ice cream just like by itself, nothing
Yes.
on, like
Yeah.
right. And correct me
Yes.
if,
Literally
when I got one wrong,
vanilla,
stop me.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he would have just like a bowl of rice. Remember, like when we were both in high school, I'd like catch him, not catch him, but it was like the middle of the night. I'd like come get a snack, and he'd be like in the kitchen, like, and he would like turn around, and he'd just be holding like a head of lettuce and a bowl of rice.
Wait.
And then he just looked at me and we'd make eye contact. He was like, "Don't judge me." And then he would just turn and like leave the room.
Wait, sorry. Would you eat the head of lettuce like it was an apple?
No.
Like lettuce.
Let me explain.
rice.
Let me explain. First off, you're also missing. You're missing the glass of chocolate milk that was accompanied with the bowl of rice and the lettuce. No,
Wait,
no, no.
chocolate milk, lettuce, and rice don't go together.
No.
The chocolate
Oh,
milk just is not the tying factor.
I know. Believe me, I'm well aware. No. I wouldn't bite into a head of lettuce like an apple. That's like I don't. I still love lettuce, but I don't think I could do that. But if I see a head of lettuce, you best believe I'm ripping chunks and throwing it in a bowl and just fucking eating it.
Wow,
as is.
that is
No
the
dressing.
purest
No
of-
dressing,
Yeah.
no nothing. I love the crunch.
I'll never forget that. I make eye contact. You're just like, "What?"
I was also like stoned to the bone.
And would you go back and forth?
I
Was it
would.
like lettuce was the appetizer?
It depended on the day, really. Most times I would
Depending
go
on
rice first.
the
You eat
strain
all
of
the
weed.
rice and then all the
Yeah,
lettuce.
yeah.
You ever use the
would-
lettuce as a chip vessel for the rice?
No.
Ooh, that'd be like a healthy
That would make
burrito.
it that would
That
make
would make
it
it-
weirdly more okay.
That would
Really?
be yeah. That would be more okay.
Well, like a
Then-
lettuce wrap, but
yeah,
it's just rice.
But it's just rice. Wait. do
Okay,
you-
I guess I gotta try it.
I love how many questions you have. You're like, "You gotta say."
I need to know. I need to know because I'm like a hot sauce whore. Like
Okay.
I season the shit out of everything
Okay,
that I
yeah,
eat. Do you season your food?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Thanks to HelloFresh. I'm kidding.
What do you like season it with?
Salt and pepper, a little bit of like garlic powder sometimes. It depends what's being made, but like
But
salt.
you're not a big spicy guy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so if I'm making like chicken, sometimes I'll put like maybe a little soy sauce. I'll throw some soy sauce, maybe some hoisin sauce.
Not
Salt and
hoisin.
pepper. Do you not like hoisin sauce?
I do. I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
I was like, oh my God, like hoisin sauce is like, if I'm not eating lettuce and rice, I'm having a bowl of hoisin sauce and just eating it with a spoon. I'm kidding. I would not ever do
I
that.
would believe it. I would believe it.
Actually, like, it does taste really good. You know what we both have done? I don't know if you still do this. Gee, let me know if you've ever done this. I would take maple syrup, just put it on a spoon, and then just like drink it like medicine.
Yeah, I used to go through, ask anyone I lived with at university, still friends with now. Like I would always buy. I love maple syrup is my favorite thing in the world. It's
It
like
is
absolute.
so good.
Like I could drink a bottle of it by itself and feel
Yeah.
fantastic after. I used to buy the normal jug of maple syrup, and
Yeah.
I would never end up using any of it with pancakes. I would just like every morning just like put some on a spoon. And, like,
Gotta
a
have my
little
daily
spoon,
maple syrup.
and I would go through the entire thing. Like I love maple syrup.
Okay,
Maple
so
syrup
maybe
is
you've
so
done
good.
it more than I have because I haven't done it in a while.
Like I still do it. Like I did it in the last month. I put maple syrup on a
Okay,
spoon.
yeah,
and
you
just
you
eat it.
definitely do it more than I
Yeah.
do.
I would never say that I love maple syrup as much as you guys, but I do remember, and this is totally a Canadian thing, where you'd go to like a maple syrup festival and they'd pour it onto the snow and then wrap it onto a stick
Yeah.
and then you'd eat. And it was
yeah.
so good.
I don't think I've ever had that.
Oh my
You never had
God.
it?
You-
Like,
I-
like,
like,
on
I'm
on the Rideau
aware-
Canal in Ottawa.
I'm like aware of
Skating.
the,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm aware of
Bonhomme
the
de
thing
neige.
of that,
Yeah.
but I don't think I've ever had maple syrup like that.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
very good, and I guarantee that you would like it.
Okay.
But also, have you ever had maple in like an Asian cuisine scenario?
Ooh, not in Asian cuisine.
So I always do like an air fried salmon. Like
Okay.
I chop salmon into cubes, and then I marinate it in a maple soy sriracha
Oh,
dressing.
okay.
That or tofu, because I'm a really big tofu.
I've had like
Tofu?
maple
I love
maple
tofu.
glazed salmon. That I've had.
Yeah,
For some
yeah,
reason, when you said like
yeah.
in Asian cuisine, I was picturing like I wasn't picturing fish, which like yes, I had
Right.
it.
But you could, but I also do it in my chicken stir fries. Same maple soy sriracha, same kind of thing. It's a very, very, very great combo.
Interesting.
And it's a foolproof combo.
I could
too.
get behind that.
It's quite good.
Ah.
But then you throw like the maple soy sriracha salmon into like a bowl and you have a sushi bowl. You have it on a plate of rice
Yeah.
with edamame beans.
Well, there was the whole thing on TikTok with like the
and you
sushi
take the seaweed and you
Yeah.
pick it up with the seaweed and you like drizzle it with
salmon. Was it
with
salmon rice?
spicy
Is that
mayo.
what it's called?
yeah.
Is that
and,
that
and you pick
Viral
it up.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've made it a bunch.
It's
We
so
made it too.
good.
Yeah. We actually, speaking of HelloFresh, we made last night.
They might as well.
Honey, it was
it's
honey
all
sriracha glazed chicken.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, okay. I was like, usually when I see sriracha in like things like HelloFresh or something like that, I usually think, you know what, how spicy can it really be? When you get like spicy salmon rolls at a sushi restaurant, it's usually not spicy at all. And
Yeah.
like we were saying, I can't handle spice at all. So when I saw, like honey sriracha, like, sure, let's go for it. And we were making it, and Kelsey took a bite when we were done, and she goes, "You're gonna think it's really spicy." And I was like, okay. I was like, sure, yeah, I'm gonna think it's really spicy. This shit was so fucking spicy.
just regular sriracha. in
Just
it?
like regular sriracha. Yeah.
You have I feel your tolerance is very low for spice.
I'm trying to get better. I've like anytime I make a sandwich, what I'll do, I love honey mustard. Like and anytime I make any sandwich, it's always honey mustard. But what
Right.
I'll do is I'll now leave a little bit in the middle just for a line of sriracha, so that it's just like midway through. I'm like, it's hot. Oh right, sriracha, and it's like I'm like getting more comfortable with the heat.
I was gonna say you could make it Dijon mustard, which is just a little bit of kick.
Yeah.
you don't like Dijon.
You don't like Dijon?
Something about Dijon.
Oh,
I don't know.
Dijon.
Like grainy mustard is like.
Dijon's not grainy. There's a grainy Dijon.
No, I know.
I
like,
love a triple crunch mustard. That is so
Wait,
good.
what is it? Triple crunch
That's
mustard.
the one that's just like the little balls of
yeah.
mustard. It's so good.
Excuse me.
I love that with regular mustard and that together.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
it's so
A
delicious.
ball of mustard.
Yeah, it's,
What the fuck?
it's the little teeny, the crunchy, the crunchy
grainy
mustard, grainy mustard, but it's just like crunch. It's just the whole.
Oh,
thing
I don't
is
know if
crunch.
I don't know if I would like that. Great. Yeah. if it's just the grainy mustard in a ball, you're gonna have to count me out. I'm so sorry. Zachary, where do you not want to work?
Ooh. So I've had jobs in customer success, and I worked very closely with customer support. And I know like you have a lot of experience with customer support,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I would be able to do customer support. It would be very frustrating and difficult. Like I don't know if I'd be. I just don't know if I have the right personality for customer support. I don't know if I could
With
do
that
it.
attitude.
Yeah. No, but it was
that's
interesting
fair.
because when I worked in customer success, when we would explain it to customers back when I used to do this, was we'd say customer success is like we're like, what's the when you go to not the doctor but the we want to like
Orthodontist?
no, like
Oh,
stretch
the
as well.
chiropractor.
physio.
Is
Customer
that
success
chiro?
would be like
Chiropractor? Is that?
chiro like cracks your back and
Yeah,
stuff.
but physio helps with like muscles. And
Physio's like proactive, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be
totally
like
thought that
customer
it was, like,
success.
the same thing. But okay.
Because someone would be like, what's the difference between customer success and customer support? And I'd say customer success is like a physiotherapist. We're here to ensure you're using the product the right way and that you're getting ahead of any potential problems. And then
Right.
customer support are like, shoot, I keep forgetting the name. What's the person who drives the ambulance? I'm blanking.
paramedic.
a paramedic.
Do you
yeah,
have
they're
AAV?
like paramedics. Customer support is like a paramedic. Like when something breaks, like they're there to help fix it.
Gotcha.
And
so
that's how I would differentiate the
proactive
two, and,
versus
like,
reactive.
Yeah, and like I'm not as good at being reactive. Just
Right.
it's in general.
Right.
Right.
It's like a call center. It's
Yeah.
actually like the company you worked at sounds great, but like, I don't think I'd be able to work in like a call center and customer support.
Yeah, to be fair, I was not fielding calls inbound. I was going outbound only. They had because of how persuasive I was.
Right.
Turns out
You
I
were
had
sales.
that.
You were doing sales.
I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say it sounds.
As someone who now works in sales,
I guess.
you were crushing it at sales.
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't know that I had that skill
that
set.
dog in you.
But yeah, and so they didn't even bother putting me on inbound. They're like, we need you on the outbound. We need to gain more
Nice.
customers.
It's so funny you mentioned like customer support. When I was doing sales, the first sales job I had was outside of like retail, was selling hearing aids over the phone. Which saying that out loud sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was not cut out for sales. I like the idea of it,
Yeah.
but like I'd be like, hey sir, like how bad's your hearing? He'd be like, it's pretty bad. I'd be like, okay, so this hearing aid costs $4,000. He'd be like, I can't afford that. I'd be like, yeah, no, me neither. All right, you take care. Have a great day. And then I would hang up, and I would always remember my boss would always say, Max, you got to push a little harder. You know, you want to help these people. I'm like, yeah, but like if they can't afford it, who am I to, you know, force them into this incredibly expensive thing?
Yeah.
And she goes, well, you just got to ask more questions. So I would try to ask more questions, and then at the end I'd be like, how does this all sound? They'd be like, yeah, I still can't afford it. I'd be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. All right, you take care. And then that was it.
You know what? That's valid. I feel like people are much more likely to have a bad taste in their mouth from a company who wouldn't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm never going to go with that company because they annoyed the shit out of me versus
Yeah.
someone who's like, I get it. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
We'll be here if you need us.
Exactly.
I will say
Exactly.
the advice. So as somebody who now works in sales and who 10 years ago, if you told me I would work in sales, I'd be like, I don't think I could do that job.
Right.
In context for anyone listening, I was a teacher for like almost 10 years and now I
Wow.
work in software sales. So
I don't think I knew
and I worked in
that.
customer success in the middle there and kind of transitioned into sales from there.
What made you stop being a teacher? Just really quick.
I kind of just got burnt out, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
Did you
I-
find there was a lack of support? Because I've got multiple cousins who are teachers, and one of them just quit, and he should have been a teacher. It was his dream, and he quit because he had no support.
There is a lack of support. So I worked in public schools for a bit, but I also started like an independent school in Toronto that I worked at for like the last few years. So it's a little different in terms of like the type of support.
Okay,
that
this
I
rings
was,
a bell now.
But
Yeah.
in general, like, yeah, I think teachers, like a lot of teachers spend a lot of their own money for like resources. They're like under-resourced, they're overworked
Yeah.
and underpaid. It's like
And underappreciated to the
Totally.
max. Yeah.
Totally. I worked in like special education for almost maybe like 1 year in there. I wasn't. By the end, I was kind of burnt out. But when I was
Yeah.
running that school, I really started enjoying the relationships I was developing with the other company, like softwares we were using, and the relationships between other schools that we had like partnerships with and stuff. That's a big part of sales. It's just like relationship building and asking questions and listening and being a people person. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of stigma associated with sales. Like what you were saying, when people just make you feel like not taking no for an answer. Like I think those are just bad salespeople.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
totally.
think good salespeople, you're on the phone. Like, think about like any really good experience you've had with like a company, and even if
Yeah.
it's like, I know I was saying like I don't know if I could do customer support, but that's also sales. Like any interaction you're having with a company in some capacity is sales.
Does anybody else find it like hilariously ironic to be selling hearing aids
Oh.
over the phone?
Oh, yes.
Where they'd have to hear you. Like,
Yes.
what if they have an issue? My
Well,
mom has hearing aids, and like she hates talking on the phone.
Yeah.
She would never get won over by someone on the phone. She'd be
Well,
like, "This is annoying. I'm hanging up on you."
yeah.
The way that
I
it
can't hear you.
worked was basically people would go online and fill out like a brief questionnaire about their hearing loss, and you could either fill it out for yourself or someone can fill it out on your behalf. It would show up in our system, and it would say, hey, like you'll get a call from one of our representatives. I was a hearing care expert, which is so not true. I was not an expert at all. We would get like the questionnaire there would show up, and we would kind of like study it a little bit before, and then we had a script, because when you're in sales, you have the script you got to follow.
Yep.
There was one time a guy filled out a form on behalf of someone else, and I called him and I was like, hey, I'm looking to speak with like Ron. He goes, oh, he's like, yeah, no, this is his son. I was like, hi, okay, well, this is Max calling from like the hearing aid company. And he'd be like, what? This is Max calling from, and he goes, no, I'm just fucking with you, man. And I was like, he's like, it's a joke. And I was like, yeah, I get it, man. But like, you kind of got to understand from my perspective, I can't really laugh at that just because I talk with people all day long who actually have genuine hearing loss. So you can
Yeah.
imagine how weird it would be if someone was like, if I was like, hey, like this is Max, they'd be like, who? I'd be like,
Right.
and the guy just goes, shit, dude, I'm so sorry. That is you're so right. It's like, I am so sorry. I did not think about that. I was like, no, I was like, it's okay. I'm like,
Was it a
now
younger
it's-
guy or an older guy? Sounds young. Or
No, I think he might have been in his like mid 40s probably. Yeah, he's like, I like didn't really think about it from that perspective. You are absolutely right. I'm really sorry. I was like, that's okay. I was like, your dad's basically going deaf, so let's help him out.
you got $4,000?
yeah, we got $4,000 to drop.
Is that how much hearing aids cost?
Well, it's
yeah.
like it
well,
depends
5,000.
on.
My mom says 5,000.
They gotta
Yeah.
are they covered in some capacity? By, like,
Semi-covered. It has to go through a bunch. You have to jump through a bunch of.
Yeah, there's a lot. If you have workers comp,
And possibly
insurance is.
disability. Like if you're classified as someone with disability, which apparently is harder to get because if you just have hearing loss, then you don't necessarily count.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, to cap off the where we wouldn't want to work.
Yeah.
Because I think about this quite often. I would never want to work in healthcare, like in a hospital
No?
specifically. I could never. First off,
really?
I would cry every day just from seeing like sick people.
Yeah.
it would make me so sad.
Yeah.
I feel like you have an embarrassing story about me about how I used to cry all the time when I was younger. Wait, share it, please.
I don't know if I should share it.
Wait,
Growing up, do you know what I'm gonna tell?
no.
Our mom was a social worker. Our mom's she's retired now.
Yeah.
Can I tell that? Do you think? It's just like
I mean, like,
you were
Yeah.
really little.
I was
If it
really
sounds bad,
little.
we'll cut it. But
Okay.
we used to go to like her office like holiday party. The last one I remember, like maybe I was like 11 or 12.
so I must have been maybe
So
like,
you would have been like
5.
4 years younger than that.
yeah, like 6 or 7.
Call
8.
it 12, call it 8. Maybe
Okay.
you're 8. No, you're probably either way. Call you 6.
Okay.
And then I was probably like 10.
Thank you.
She worked at a place where like a lot of the individuals she worked with who were handicapped were there too and would be at the holiday party. And somebody like more in a wheelchair. Max saw somebody in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It would like really upset him.
Oh.
So
I
like,
don't know why.
I just have such this vivid memory of like this man like rolling into the room and Max
Yeah.
just like stood there and just started bawling his eyes out.
Oh.
And like anybody with like a physical disability, like he couldn't hold it together
Oh.
and would just like cry.
Oh.
I don't know
It is cute.
what it
Like
was.
it's cute.
Yeah,
but, like,
I think we can keep that in. I think that just shows that you're really empathetic.
But I wonder,
I
like, what our
guess.
mom, I wonder her reaction. She's like at work. She's like, "Shit, my son is crying at every
She's
like,
like, I
disabled
can't get
person who's coming
anything
into
done.
this room."
I don't even know what made me upset. I think I was just sad because I was like, no, I was like, I want them to
Like, I feel
like,
yeah.
yeah.
You want to help.
I was just empathetic.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, I do remember that. And yeah, no, it was something about wheelchairs specifically where I was like, it scared me where I was like, they can't walk. Like, how can they not walk? Like, I
it was
need
like
them to walk.
it was like an
Yeah.
electric wheelchair
Yeah.
too. It was like with the control, like the person like was paralyzed in some capacity, or using a wheelchair that was like an electric wheelchair.
Right.
I did not handle it very well at
See,
all.
like I think it's really sweet because obviously like you were a really empathetic kid, but I feel bad for anybody who saw you crying at them because then they're
Right.
like, fuck, should I how should I be feeling? I'm like say it was from some accident, God forbid, and they
Yeah.
come to terms and stuff, and then they see a kid just looking at them and crying from down the hall, and they're like, I got some more work to do
Like-
on myself.
Right, like, and
that
I
makes that
like the
bums me
topic
out.
of conversation for those people still nowadays where they think back, they're like, I remember like first year in the wheelchair and that one kid just bawled his eyes out when he made eye contact with me, and I haven't forgotten.
That actually makes I think about this often. Do you ever wonder if you are part of someone else's core memory?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
I wish I knew.
But I think you all for sure are. Like
I think
so.
everybody, you know what I mean? There's some, and there's probably things that were super, very core memory to somebody. Like we have no idea. It wasn't,
Yeah.
we maybe even realized it happened. Like it just like wasn't significant to us at all. And like we didn't even think twice about
Yeah.
it.
I'll tell you, I have a core memory of a total stranger that this woman definitely doesn't know that I think about this very often.
Yeah.
When we were younger, we went on a family trip to Buffalo. We went to like the outlet stores. We would always go
I
to
feel like family
Buffalo.
trip to Buffalo sounds weird. We just like went for
We just
like
went
24
for,
hours
to
to shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess.
No offense to Buffalo.
But I remember walking through the mall, and there was a kiosk. We were on the bottom floor. There was a woman. She had short red hair, and she was just like minding her own business. We walked past, and I saw that she answered her cell phone, and she just started bawling her fucking eyes out.
Oh no.
And I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what the news was on the other end of the phone of that conversation, but I remember walking by and like constantly just like looking over my shoulder to like see. And she was like, it only got worse the further away that we got. And I was like,
no.
fuck. I was like, what happened? Yesterday, I woke up and I was like, oh, fuck. I remember that one time I went to Buffalo. I saw that woman crying. I wonder what she was crying about.
Yeah.
It just like sticks in your mind for like no reason. So
Totally.
I like to think that I am someone's core memory, but
Certainly.
I don't know what for, but
Yeah, but
Definitely
it's going to be
something.
something super random that like
Yeah.
that maybe you said that either made someone's day or maybe something that we said that completely devastated a person that we
Yeah.
don't even remember saying. Like
yeah.
because sometimes people that I haven't seen for a long time, there was I'm not going to keep this super morbid, but I worked at this one chain restaurant, and it was at the chain restaurant that I found out that one of my best friends was killed in a car accident.
Oy.
It was also someone that I had dated and been in love with, and we had then remained best friends. This was within the year before
Right.
he died, and
Wow.
it was horrible.
Yeah.
And I still remember everything about it. Everything
Yeah.
about it. We don't need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
go into it. But I got told at the table, like because my table, I was about to move to Australia, and my old housemate was sitting at the table, and she found out because I was living with her when I was dating him.
Right.
And she found out at the table, and she told me in person.
Whoa.
And thank God my phone was at the back because it was blowing up with people just like telling me over text. And I'm really glad someone told me in person
Yeah.
that she
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
to be there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turned into this whirlwind thing, and I can clock every single second of what happened afterwards, where they sent me home. And then I saw this girl who worked there who I was never really particular friends with. Like we were fine, but she was a couple years younger than me. She was a hostess. I was a server. And I didn't even realize she was working. Like when I think about that time, I don't remember her working. I don't remember seeing her, but it's her core memory. When I found that out and she walked to the pass through and she saw me on the ground because I had collapsed. Like 'cause I just couldn't, I was just having a panic attack and I couldn't even like see anyone around me. Like it was just this horrible thing.
Yeah.
And she told me years later after I had come back from Australia. So like maybe 4 years after he had died or more, that she has never stopped thinking about that moment. And I didn't even know she was there. It's nuts though. You never know.
Yeah.
You really never know.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, I'm sorry. That sounds.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
like,
thanks.
Wow.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Oh my God.
This year will be the 10-year anniversary, which is nuts how quickly that goes
Wow.
by.
Jeez, that's.
But I don't know how to segue out of that.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, like,
Trying to think of like a
I was gonna say,
funny.
well,
Do we have a funny core
do you
memory
think you're
story?
someone's core memory? Like, can you think of a thing?
No, let me think. And we'll like cut
Maybe-
it back in. But probably
Even with you could even like branch it out to you with your kids being core memory for someone, or even like the birth of your kids and the nurse in there, and maybe you said something funny or Jess said something
Yeah,
funny.
I'm trying to think of like that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or like me, like I'm sure like my kids doing something like weird or silly in public that like I don't think twice of it. Someone was like, you know what I mean? I was like, what?
I saw this kid on the street the other day. I can already tell. I know there's going to be a core memory for Kelsey whenever we have a kid. Speaking of which, I'm still not over the fact that you're pregnant. That's amazing. Because she always says, she's like, "What are you going to do when I'm like giving birth?" And I'm like, "I'm going to pass out."
Yeah.
I'm 99.2% certain that I will pass out,
99.2.
and Kelsey will laugh. She's gonna have a ball, and I know that for her that'll be a core memory. So,
Yeah.
Kels, get ready.
But I love that you're saying she'll have a ball when you pass out while she's giving birth. This as somebody who like, has not given okay, Kelsey.
Okay.
Sure you'll love when Max passes out.
At the time, she'll probably be like, "Get the fuck up! You're not
Suck it
missing
up."
this. I'm crowning."
Yeah. No, so I'm excited, and now that I think about it, nervous.
Yeah. Are you
so-
are you a quick to pass out person?
Not usually.
But you have passed out before.
I've fainted. I can think of like 2 times. There's one time that I can definitely remember, and it was so weird. It was the summer after I left the summer camp, and we were in Montreal. I was with a couple friends, and we went to go see The Other Guys. Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg,
Great flick.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
And I remember, I don't even know how it happened, but the movie finished. I remember standing up. And then I just like fell over.
Oh, no.
And like kind of like rolled on the seats in front of me, like on the top of them. And then I like got back up.
Did you hit any people?
No. People had already left at that point. So thankfully there was no one in front. But I just remember it happened like literally at the snap of a finger. And I got back up and I couldn't really remember it in the moment. But I knew that like I lost my balance. That's all I
Yeah.
remember.
Was it a full
Wow.
pass out or one of those things where like when you stand up too quick, you know
like
what I mean?
it-
And then you're like,
It might have been that, but
Yeah.
I just remember falling forward. And then next thing I knew, I was back up. So
Did anyone like? Were your friends?
Oh
like,
yeah,
hey?
they were like, dude, what the fuck? Like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm fine. They're like, you just like fell, rolled, and got back up. And I was like, I remember like falling forward, but that is it. And they're like, do you want to like go to a doctor or something? And I was like, in Montreal, in Quebec, no.
I've only fainted from like, remember back in the day when you'd like do that, you'd like hold your breath and then have somebody
Yes.
put their hands here.
That was banned in my school.
Yeah, I think it's like really bad for you.
What?
Yeah.
This must have been grade like 5.
Yeah. This was early on.
So you would like hold your breath. Like we could do it on camera right here. See if I'm sure it still works. Like you like stand against a wall. Don't do this. I think it's like really dangerous.
Not recommended.
Yeah,
at
like
all.
you like,
People have
you-
died.
You hold your breath and then you just like I don't know. I can't remember. I remember somebody like
You get
don't
someone
like
else
choke
to,
someone
like,
or anything, but it's just like you like
basically-
hold your. You
Oh, so
kind
you
of
basically
apply
just get someone to
pressure.
choke you.
Yeah, but
then
it's,
you, like,
it's a
pass out.
specific.
Yeah.
It's a specific like hold.
It's a weird
it has
hold.
to do with
Wait,
I don't know the placement of.
So I did it
your
one
hands.
time. I remember I was like really nervous. I don't know, and like I did it, and I remember I just woke up on the ground. It was like literally, it's like 2 seconds. But I had a friend who was like he's like, "This is so fun. Keep doing it to me."
Yeah.
And then we were at another friend's house, and like they kept making this friend. Let's call him Chuck. They kept making Chuck like faint. And then like
Yeah.
the third time he did it in a row, I remember he slumped down the wall and then he opened his eyes and we're like, "You okay, Chuck?" And he stood up and it's at the top of the lungs, and ran down the hallway and back and 2 or 3 times and back to the room, sat down on the couch. He's like, and we're like, "You okay?" He's like, yeah, I'm fine. And he had no recollection of yelling or running up and down the hallway. And then
What
we
the
never did
fuck?
it again after that. That was
my God. That's
Yeah.
a brain damage type of
Yeah,
scenario.
I was gonna
That's
say,
something.
And I'll tell you after who it was.
I feel like I know, but holy wow.
That's
No,
But it was I remember I'm
terrifying.
like, he doesn't remember running down the hall. And I'm like, that is scary. That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
we didn't
You're
have that
fucking with
in
some
the
serious
5th
stuff.
grade. We had Pop Rocks in the 5th grade. If you remember Pop Rocks.
Yeah. But what does that have to do with
Well, that's
fainting?
no. That was just thinking
Nothing.
because you were saying how
Oh,
this
you're
was
the
the
craziest
thing.
thing
in the
you
fifth-
guys, it was, got it.
It's like we
Sorry,
did not.
I didn't catch on there.
We weren't choking each other in the 5th grade. That's
Yeah.
for sure. We were chugging energy drinks and throwing Pop Rocks. No, not Pop Rocks. Sprite bombs.
Oh,
Sprite
yes.
bombs. Pop Rocks was the candy that you would put on your tongue that would crackle.
Yeah, but you put Mentos in a Diet Coke and you throw it.
You could do yeah.
Or a Sprite, yeah.
The Sprite bombs were literal, they looked like little beads essentially that you can make like a necklace out of, little tiny beads, and you would throw them at the ground and they would explode and make a really
yes.
loud bang. And the convenience store next to the elementary school that we went to would sell them.
Wow.
And at lunch we would always go to My Zadie's Pizza, and then we would go next door to the convenience store, and I would probably buy a vanilla Coke, a cap gun, because I had a weird obsession with cap guns.
Very weird.
It was
What's a cap
very
gun
weird.
again? It's
It's just like a fake gun.
Oh, okay. With
That
the
makes
thing that comes
pop,
off.
like a loud pop with those
Okay.
little red
Yeah.
Yeah,
rings.
yeah, okay.
And we would always get Sprite bombs and we would throw them. And I remember they had to call basically the whole school into an assembly because they were we're banning Sprite bombs at the school. We've spoken with the convenience store. They can't sell them to you guys anymore.
Yeah,
and we were
that's probably
pissed.
wise.
Probably wise, yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of 24 at the time. And I wanted to be an action hero back in the day. A big thing about me when I was really young, I wanted to be James Bond.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah?
my whole
James
thing.
Bond.
Wow.
Anytime I could wear a suit, I would just put a suit on. I would run around the house. I'd be like, dan
very accurate.
Yeah.
I remember it used to be his reward. It was hey Max, if you do this and you behave, you can wear your blazer. And he would walk around. He would walk around the house like this. It was really cute.
Yeah, I was obsessed.
I'm obsessed with that image.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I was talking to someone about this recently. I think I was talking to Kelsey about this, how me and 2 friends of mine in elementary school, we had a game that we created called Guns N' Roses,
Okay.
where we would literally buy cap guns and we would run around our parents' street and pretend to get in gunfights with each other. But we would go to people's front doors and hide on their front stoop.
Oh, dear
There's a
God.
house across the street from us. To this day, I still don't know who lives there, but they had a really open space where their front door was because it was it wasn't connected to the garage. So they had a whole open space. We would go and hide there. And looking back, I now thought to myself, imagine if they just opened the blinds of their window in the front and just saw a kid leaned up against the wall with a gun, because these cap guns looked very real.
They were black?
They had an orange tip on them, but we were so fucking crazy. We would color it black.
Oh my God.
Were they little silver?
They looked like real guns.
That would never fly these days.
No.
No.
They're not just cap guns. They are cap rifles. They have
What
machine guns. But
the
you can't
fuck?
get caps. Now it's the sticky things that they shoot out, and it maybe hurts.
Caps don't shoot. They
Caps
just make a
don't, they
sound.
just make a sound. I was gonna say this could actually hurt if
Oh,
you shoot someone.
man.
Yeah, I always think about stuff when I was a kid, and I'm like, wow, our parents must have been so worried about me, especially during that cap gun phase. Oh my god, I think I said to our mom a while ago, I was like, that was a bit concerning, wasn't it? She goes, yeah, we were a little bit worried. She's like, I remember. She's like, I had to talk to the police about something one day. They came by the house to investigate something in the neighborhood, and you had a cap gun out on and the officer looked at it and he was like, I thought that was a real gun.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to him. I was like, my son really likes cap guns, and I was like, I'm so embarrassed looking back now. Such a weird obsession to have.
Isn't it funny too that our parents, I don't know about your guys' parents, but my mom was such a worrywart about me for random things, but also she let me run away for hours. I'd be like, I'm going. And I would put a bunch of really useless shit, like an orange.
Runaways and I'm running away from home.
I'm running away from home. I put an orange and a pencil into, I'm not joking you. I would search for our red and white checkered tea towel because I wanted it to look as legit as possible. And I would tie it to the end of a broom and I'd be like, I'm going, and walk out the door. And my mom was like, bye, see you later. And I'd be gone for hours, and I would just like go into the forest. And my mom would say to my twin sister and like her friend, like, go find Geneva. So for some reason, she was never worried about that. She'd be like, they're fucking fine. They'll get back. But my mom was so worried that I was gonna like break my neck and become a vegetable, that we weren't allowed on trampolines ever.
Oh, wow.
When we went skating, we had to wear these horrific helmets. I'm not talking about regular helmets. I'm talking about like the big helmets that go all the way down like your neck. In like 7th grade, we were so not cool. She would come to chaperone, so she would force us to do this.
Wow.
She'd make us wear snow pants, and she'd stuff mini pillows down our snow pants because she was afraid we were gonna fall and break something.
While skating?
Well, skating, which is
Jeez.
wild. But like, if I ran away, she'd be like, she'll come back in 6 hours. It was so strange.
Wow. I mean, I don't know about you, because like I'm the youngest, so like I feel like I got away with like way more stuff. Being a middle child.
Oh, you're the middle child.
I'm the middle.
Okay.
I'm the middle.
How old's your sister?
She's
2 years older than
me.
you.
Okay.
Yeah. I think like me and you got away with more.
I think so,
I was
yeah.
also like, I didn't do many. I was like a very like straight edge kid. Like
Oh, yeah?
For context, speech competitions, when those started in like elementary school, like I remember I
Yes.
think grade 5 was the first time, and I actually made it. I was in the finals. My speech was on Holocaust denial
Wow.
in grade 5, like very serious.
Wow.
And then the next year, I'm like, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to double down. I'm going to make it to the finals. And I wrote it on why marijuana should not be legalized.
Oh my.
In grade,
Fucking
that was in grade.
nerd.
I remember, like, as I grew up, my dad was like,
grade
when you
6.
came, I was like, this is what I'm writing my speech on. We're like, we're like, all right, nerd. Like, how did we raise
They're
this
like
kid?
hiding their joints.
Yeah,
Oh my
I remember
God.
a line in it too. I was like, the Ontario police have recently decriminalized having however many grams. It was decriminalized. I'm like, this is not okay. Like, I was like, really like, that's the kind of kid I was. So I
Oh
didn't
my
do any.
God.
Did you
I
get
didn't do
beat
any
up
bad
right
things.
after making that speech? Fucking loser. Wait, I did not know that you did your speech on that.
And why marijuana should not be legalized.
Did you have to do speeches as well? Because we
Yeah.
had to do speeches.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Do you remember what they were about?
I can't. I'm trying to remember what my speech was on, but all I remember was that this girl I know, who I actually bumped into fairly recently, she did her speech on how a Barbie would not survive if she was a real person.
Right, yeah.
And I was like shocked by that. And another guy did one about aspartame, how aspartame is really bad
Oh,
for you.
okay.
And
That
I
was
was like,
back. That was like when you were in elementary school.
yeah, that was like
So he
grade
was
5.
ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
And ever since I was like, I'm gonna not drink diet beverages because like it's filled with aspartame. And to this day, I still really avoid diet beverages like at all possible
But you
costs.
tripled down on regular beverages, right?
Oh, Dr. Pepper, fuck me up.
I'm trying to remember all of my speeches because
Yeah.
in grade 3 and 4, they would get you to write your own story, memorize it, and then perform it to like prep you for the speeches.
Yeah.
And then 5, 6, 7, 8, you'd have to have a speech. Oh, sorry, grade 4, we would start having speeches. And my first speech was on self-esteem. And I remember
Oh,
laughing
damn.
at that too in my introduction. And I was like, did you know that in the whole wide world, there's no one just like you? And I made it to the end with
I love that.
with
That's so wholesome.
self-esteem. And then in grade 8, I remember I did it on ghosts, like on the
Oh.
craziest hauntings I've ever heard of.
Damn.
And I don't remember what 5, 6, and 7 were right now.
I can't remember any of the speeches that I did, but I remember I was always in the school play. I wanted to be in the play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
Love it.
when I was in grade 6, one of the 8th graders wrote a play
Wow.
to have it be performed for the school. And I remember it was called Zerno and Melina.
Zerno.
Zerno and it was basically Romeo and Juliet, except Zerno wasn't from like an alien who like came to Earth, and I was Zerno. They painted my face
Wow.
purple.
Oh my
And I
God.
remember I think we did 2 performances of it, and the second performance I was early on my cue.
Yeah.
And I remember I like went on stage when I wasn't supposed to, and then everyone was like, because they like saw like my face like all purple. And they're
Was,
like,
it
oh my
like,
God.
was it like this purple?
It was honestly, yeah. The Academy snubbed me though, fucking bastards.
Whatever job you have too, I think like public speaking is a good skill to have for any that and improv.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
someone's like, I want to do, what can I do? I know a lot of jobs give you like a development budget. Like, oh, you could spend $300 a year on something for yourself. I recommend improv classes and like public speaking classes. It just makes you better at any
Wow,
job.
that would be so cool.
Any
Also,
customer facing job. I think
Improv
makes
is
you way
just
better at.
fun as well. Like it's just a fun thing to
Yeah.
do. So that's a good recommendation. Yeah.
Man, doing improv paid for by my work would be incredible.
Yeah.
that.
I know a lot of like software companies, like tech companies, tend to have like a personal development budget. And you have like call it $300 to $500 a year. The company I used to work for had. I mean, the one I work at now also has it, but the one I used to work for, I used to spend it on what's that? Where they have like experts teach you things. It's like a series.
Oh, Masterclass.
Masterclass. I used to just buy
yeah.
Masterclass, and I would have it. Sorry, I just hit the pool. I would like be like a work perk.
That is
Cool.
so.
That's actually really cool.
Well, we're not sponsored by Masterclass, but if you want to sponsor us, we're
Please
open to it.
sponsor us.
This
Masterclass.
episode could be sponsored by Masterclass
Or HelloFresh.
or HelloFresh. Hello Class, Master Fresh.
That sounds like a DJ, Master Fresh.
Oh, are you thinking of Maestro Fresh Wes? That's a person. Well, that's it for this episode.
I feel like this is a bit of like a bottle episode of the podcast in terms of like we didn't talk about too much work stuff specifically. But
Yeah.
I feel like everyone got to know us a little bit.
Yeah, I completely
And
agree.
at the end of the day, not every episode has to be like all about work. I feel like it's just fun to kind of riff and have a good time and have people
Totally.
get to know all of us. So
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been Thank You Kindly, the
Thank You
podcast
Kindly.
that's about...
Normally,
This is the everything in between.
this is the
This
everything
is the
in
everything in
between.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
you.
Adios.
Bye.
Bye.
I think that'll
Also,
happen
you
for
salty dog telling us.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was amazing. At first, I was like, is she just trying to
Is
get a
this a
reaction
bit?
from us?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was like,
I'm
I wasn't
great. I'm
sure.
great. I'm like,
That's so exciting.
I'm like, are you great? I'm like, you're saying I'm great in a weird way.